Pastor, I cheated on my husband and I have sinned.
Calm down.
Some nights refuse to sleep. They remain awake inside us, breathing in the shadows of memory. My name no longer matters. I served as a pastor for 43 years until my heart demanded rest, and God allowed me to step away. But before I left, I witnessed something that still today, when I close my eyes, I see as clearly as yesterday. It was a Tuesday in October. A fine rain was falling, the kind that looks more like heaven's tears. I was in my office, preparing what would be my final sermon before retirement, when I heard desperate knocking at the door. It was nearly 11 at night. When I opened it, I found a woman I knew well, the wife of one of our city's most respected pastors. Her eyes, oh, those eyes carried the weight of all the world's sins. She entered without asking, trembling like a leaf in the wind. She sat in the chair across from my desk, and before I could offer water or ask what had happened, she whispered, "Pastor, I have sinned against heaven and against my husband, and now I need to confess before my soul shatters completely." That night, I witnessed the deepest human agony, but what I didn't know was that this confession would trigger something neither of us expected. Because sometimes, when one soul breaks open, it creates a crack through which light or darkness can enter another. Let me take you back 6 months before that night. Their family was the portrait of pastoral perfection. He, a man with a deep voice and easy smile, preached with the authority of one who walks with God. She, always impeccable, led the women's ministry with grace and wisdom. 2 sons with bright eyes who sang in the children's choir. On Sundays, I watched them from the pulpit. Always in the third pew, she with her Bible open, annotating every word of the sermon. He held her hand during hymns. It was beautiful to watch, so beautiful it hurt, because perfection, when forced, sounds like crystal about to shatter. But I knew something others didn't. 3 months earlier, the pastor had come to me with his own confession, not of adultery, but of a gambling addiction he'd hidden for 2 years. Online poker, late nights after she slept, church funds never touched, he swore, but their savings were gone. I stopped, he said. "I'm clean now." She doesn't need to know. It would destroy her faith in me. I advised him to tell her. He refused. "I'm protecting her," he said. But secrets in a marriage are like termites. They eat away at the foundation silently until the whole house collapses. The signs were subtle. One Sunday, she stopped taking notes. Another Sunday, their hands remained apart during worship. 2 people drowning separately in the same pew, each thinking they were protecting the other. The void in her began as all hunger does, slowly, almost imperceptibly. She told me that night she felt invisible in her own home, her husband consumed by ministry and secretly fighting his own demons online until 3 a.m. was distant, present but absent, speaking but not communicating. And then someone appeared, someone who saw her, who asked about her forgotten dreams, about the woman behind the title pastor's wife. Initially, just conversations, coffee after volunteer work, messages about books and music, nothing that could be called sin yet. Meanwhile, her husband was losing his battle again. The stress of maintaining perfection had driven him back to the virtual poker tables, winning, losing, borrowing. The church credit card, just this once. The guilt ate him alive. It was like sinking in quicksand, she said. What she didn't know was that her husband had used the same words with me months earlier. The line was crossed on a Thursday afternoon for her. For him, it crossed again that same night. $15,000 in church debt. Both came home that evening, carrying secrets that would explode like bombs. "I need to tell him," she said after pouring out her confession. "But Pastor, there's something else. I found statements, debts, transactions at 3 a.m. to online casinos. He's been lying too. I called her husband. Come to my office. It's urgent." He arrived in 20 minutes, hair disheveled, eyes foggy with sleep. When he saw her, he knew his secret was out. But he didn't know about hers yet. She spoke first. Each word was a nail being hammered. When she finished with her affair, she pulled out the bank statements. "Now tell him about these," she said quietly. The color drained from his face. "I can explain, but explanations are just decorations on the truth." What happened next stunned me. They both began laughing. Not joyful laughter, the broken, hysterical laughter of two people realizing they'd been living in mutual deception. "We're both frauds," he said. "Complete frauds." They collapsed into each other's arms, sobbing. Two broken people discovering they were broken in different but equally devastating ways. And then something extraordinary happened. The room grew cold, the lights flickered, and suddenly, both of them fell into what I can only describe as a divine trance. Their eyes rolled back, their bodies went rigid. For 30 seconds that felt like hours, they were somewhere else. When they came back, gasping, their eyes were different, terrified, but illuminated. "Did you see it?" she asked him. He nodded, unable to speak. They described the same vision. They were in a room with mirrors on all walls, but the mirrors didn't reflect them. They reflected their victims. He saw every person affected by his gambling. Church programs cut, families who didn't receive help, his children's college funds. She saw her husband's trust shattered, her children's confusion, the other man's wife. Then the mirrors cracked, and through the cracks came burning, purifying light. They heard a voice, neither male nor female, saying, "Your sins are equal. Your pain is equal. Your forgiveness must be equal." But first, they were shown their future. Two paths. One, where they separated, became success stories, found new partners, preached about redemption. The other, where they stayed, faced the ruins together, lost the ministry, lost reputation, but found something else. "What did you find in the second path?" I asked. "Each other," they said. "The real us. Not the pastor and his wife, just us." Heaven hadn't been silent. It had been waiting for both masks to fall before speaking. They left at dawn, different people, not restored. Restoration implies returning to what was. They were new, raw, honest for the first time in their marriage. He confessed to the church board and was immediately removed. She confessed to the women's ministry and stepped down. They sold their house to pay the debt, moved to a small apartment. He became a carpenter. She became a teacher. No more platforms, no more performances. But something beautiful happened. Without the pressure of perfection, they began talking, really talking, about his father's gambling, about her mother's affair, about how they both entered ministry to prove they were different from their parents, only to become exactly what they fled. 6 months later, they visited me again. "We had another vision," they said, "together, wide awake, holding hands in our tiny kitchen. This time, they saw themselves old, sitting on a porch, poor in money but rich in something else. Young couples came to them, not for pastoral counseling, but for honest conversation about failure and redemption. No titles, no positions, just scars turned into roadmaps for for other lost souls. The strangest part, she said, is that in the vision, we were happy, genuinely happy, not performing happiness, just happy. They returned to ministry 3 years later, not as senior pastors, but as counselors for fallen ministers. Their office walls have one plaque: "We are all broken here." Last month, they celebrated their 20th anniversary. He gave her a poker chip, his 5-year sobriety token. She gave him a letter, the one she never sent to the other man. Because sometimes God's silence isn't abandonment. It's Him waiting for all the masks to fall, so we can finally speak to who we really are. If this story moved your heart, subscribe now and walk with me through more true moments of faith, grace, and redemption. This is Pastor Daniel, sharing what 43 years of ministry taught me about the miracles God still performs today.